Life is not a box of chocolate. I learned that as a very young child. I was in 4th grade and my parents were separating. And I really didn't quite understand what was going on. All I knew was that there was fighting and my brother was away in college, and it was just very challenging for me because I didn't know what quite was going on, and I had a little sister, so I couldn't talk to her, and then we had to move out, and I went from one school to the next school to the next school in 3 years. I went to 3 different elementary schools, and developing different relationships with friends and trying to keep friendships that you had when you were just in kindergarten. It was just really hard on me to change my environment. It was very hard on me. And then came my Frost junior high year, and I was able to try my best, which to my potential was actually the absolute best. I was a huge perfectionist, and I'm still battling that today, but it was very bad when I was in junior high. I got very mad at myself if I didn't do too well on an exam or on a project, or it was just very hard. It was only in school. It wasn't about the way I looked or the way I talked, but it actually didn't affect any of my friendships. I was very popular with friends. I had a blast with anyone I hung out with. I went to different functions that we had at the community center every Friday, and it was just so much fun. I always had a blast in junior high, and then I had my first boyfriend, and it was great. That was just about when I was going to be going into high school. And then other relationships that I had, it was actually with different types of guys that were exhibiting the characteristics that my father was, and that's just not something that I knew that was going to be beneficial for me, because I know that having a controlled relationship, it's not a give and take relationship, and I just wasn't having any fun in those relationships. It was all about who they were, and then how I was acting around them had to be what they wanted, and it was just not what I wanted to be involved in. And I figured that out now that I'm in college, and now that I am in college, I'm only going to a community college, but it's a great opportunity for me to be able to have setting a foundation, trying to figure out who I am, who I want to be, and what I actually want to do in my future. And now being recently accepted into ISU here in Illinois, I have this great opportunity of becoming the teacher that I've always wanted to become since I was 4 years old. But as I said before, life is not a box of chocolate. It has been a very long road for me, and for me to be able to get to where I am, there have been a lot of struggles. My mom's a single parent. She's worked so hard as a bus driver part-time, and for her to be the type of mom that she is, she has sacrificed so much to help and support for her 2 children, her 2 daughters, myself and my younger sister. And it's very hard, especially living in the United States. It's extremely hard to be a single parent, and trying to live in the city that I live in with such great schooling. The education is phenomenal, but it's not all about what your parents put into it. You have to strive for what you want and want now, and also what you want to do in your future. And that's why I want to become a teacher, because I want to give every student, every child, that opportunity that I have had. Because it only starts with someone that cares, and a teacher who cares about the education that they want to put forth and teach to students will not be beneficial for them now, but it will be beneficial for them as they progress in their life, through school, and in their future. So that's with how important for me, and with how success with life can be with the start of teaching, and my prior experiences of life, of moving from different family lifestyles, is very hard, but struggles can only put forth positivity in your attitude, and also can make life more fulfilled if you know that. If you have been at such a low point, which I have been for these past 2.5 months. I had a family member that was in a very traumatic and tragic car accident at the beginning of this semester in August, and she suffered from 2 brain bleedings, and she also suffered from re-injuring her back. She couldn't work for 2.5 months, and money is very tight. We also found out that she has a brain tumor. So with me taking 14 hours of classes, one class I did have to drop because it was just too much for me to take. And I was also working on top of that, and I was the only one dealing with everything. I didn't really have any other support, but the people that were able to support me, it was very great of them too, because I was very lost. I didn't know where I was in that point of time. Seeing my mom in the ICU was extremely hard for me. I'm just sitting there and praying so hard. I have never prayed as hard as I did that night. After my mom was in the ER, sitting there for the most painful 4 hours of my life. Seeing your mom, the person that gave you life, the person that has sacrificed so much for being 2 parents in one. I am not here today because of just of what I have done, but it's because of the sacrifices that she has made. And I'm sitting in a chair, I'm just looking at her, and I'm like, what am I gonna do if something doesn't get better after this? So you're battling within your mind. You're trying to figure out, what am I going to do? What is going to go on? How am I going to find out on how to pay for food? Just the essential things that I take for granted every day. The roof over my head, groceries, insurance, and I was so scared. I did not know what I was going to do. So that was why I kept on praying and praying, looking towards my family members that had just recently passed, trying to have them give me some type of light, some type of hope to help me just push through, because my mom is the only one that I have right now to live with that is going to be able to help me push through until I can be on my own and figure out what I'm going to do in my life. So I sit there in that chair in the ICU, my mom having oxygen, listening to the beeping of the machines, the heart monitor. I could not take my eyes off her. I'm just sitting there, and I keep praying. I just hope that God will have her plan of staying here with me, because she is my hope in life. She is a person that is my role model and my everything. She's one of my bestest friends in the world. If it weren't for her, I don't know who I would be today. So after all the prayers that I have done, and with very close friends that I have known since elementary school, even though that I had moved away, they have always been there for me. And it's in these hard times that you really know who your true friends are. My mom was only in the ICU for 3 days, and thank the Lord she was able to get out and able to go into a regular room, and she began to heal so much faster than I anticipated. The pain had not started to go away completely within that first week that she was in the hospital, but she was getting well enough that she could tolerate the pain. I just kept on worrying about what are we going to do, but my mom kept on reassuring me that everything's going to be okay, that if I believe in God, and I believe about how He will find a way for me to understand about what He has in store for my mom and I, that everything will be alright. It was very hard for me to take everything in. I couldn't believe that my mom was in this horrible accident, but at least she came out okay. She came out of the hospital. I was basically being the one to help my mom through everything that she had to get through, to call the insurance companies, to try to help figure things out. I was basically doing the job of what my mom was going to be doing, but she wasn't well enough for her to do it. I pushed my way through school. I don't know how I did it, but I know that I had to get it done. I had to keep persevering, find the hope that was created just by everyone around me. They just said, you can do this. I know you can. You're strong enough. And the words had to become a part of me and not just words that surrounded me. I had to let them just come within me, and that's exactly what I had to do. I had to let the words become a part of my vocabulary, and I will be able to do it. So as of right now, I do have all A's and B's in my classes, but that's not the only thing that should be the success of everything that happened this semester. I learned a lot about myself about that. When times are tough, it could have been worse. And I have to think about it that way. Because if I just keep thinking that, oh, how could I have done this? How could I have gotten through this? I just have to believe that I did it. And if I can do this, I can do anything. Anything is possible if you just believe. Positive attitude will bring success, and no matter what you put your mind to. That is all my mom tells me. And there are days when it's extremely hard for me to keep up with everything that's still going on. But I have to keep thinking that everything will be okay. And I just have to keep my head up high. And everything will be alright. And if I keep that in my mind, it will be. So my advice for everyone is that everyone has a story. This is what my life is. This is only a taste about what really and truly happened. But everything that I have gone through has made me the person that I am today. A strong, hard-working individual that looks at any type of obstacle and I'll find any way to overcome it. No matter how hard it takes, how much dedication I have to put forth, I can overcome that bridge and make it and see the path that is clear and right ahead of me. Thank you.